Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Morning, Morgan.
Good morning, y'all. DJ NV, Charlamagne the God, and Jess Hilarious. Happy birthday, girl.
Thank you, boo.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's line up that Trump meeting Putin audio. So President Trump, he's not saying whether or not he feels Ukraine and Russia are equal in their efforts to end the war between the two. Speaking from the Oval Office, Trump says he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and they will immediately start negotiations to end the war following a highly productive cause, what he called it, and the two will meet a few times. So let's hear more from Trump on meeting with Putin.
It's an interesting question. I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace. President Putin wants to have peace now, and that's good. And he didn't want to have peace with Biden. Do we expect that he'll come here and I'll go there, and we're going to meet also probably in Saudi Arabia the first time. We'll meet in Saudi Arabia, see if we can get something done. But we want to end that war. That war is a disaster.
He also spoke about the White House, he did say he felt the two made peace and said Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky would have to do what he has to do when it comes to potentially giving up part of its territory following those negotiations. Now, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, she spoke about the calls between Trump and Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Let's hear more from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Russia and Ukraine.
I myself just spoke to the president about these calls, and he told me to tell all of you they were very good calls, they were very positive, and the administration is wholeheartedly committed to a peace deal to end once and for all the Russia-Ukraine war. We discussed a variety of topics having to do with the war, but mostly the meeting that is being set up on Friday in Munich, where Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the delegation.
Yeah, so in a post on Truth Social, he said the conversation with Zelensky went very well. Trump added that, like Putin, Zelensky wants to make peace. He went on to say it is time to stop this ridiculous war where there has been massive and totally unnecessary death and destruction. So we will continue to watch what happens as a result of these negotiations between President Trump, Vladimir Zelensky, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, elsewhere in the Trump administration, the White House says Wednesday's inflation report shows the Biden administration left them with a mess to deal with. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the previous administration was not transparent in where the economy truly was. Let's hear more from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on the economy and inflation.
The Biden administration indeed left us with a mess to deal with. It's far worse than I think anybody anticipated because, unfortunately, the previous administration was not transparent in where the economy truly was. People at this very podium told the American people that inflation was transitory and that it would go away. That was not the case. And now the last report of the Biden administration, as revealed today, shows that inflation is still about 4.5% higher over the past 3 months.
Well, the American people could have told you that. I mean, the inflation numbers might have been down, but people didn't feel that in their pockets in any way, shape, or form.
Nah.
Inflation might have been down, but the price of everything else was up. All you had to do was talk to the American people, and you would know that the economy wasn't as strong as you thought it was.
Well, not only that, like going back to the Ukraine war, we were saying all that the war had to stop. They said they allocated like $113 billion for that war and already gave up $69 billion worth of American funds, which is a lot of money. And then you hear the prices of eggs and all this other stuff is going up. Yeah, it's going to piss some people off.
Oh, for sure. So the latest consumer price index report showed that the annual inflation ticked up 3% in January. Caroline Leavitt added that the CPI report is an indictment on the Biden administration's mismanagement of the inflation crisis. She also said that Trump wants interest rates to be lower and thinking that it will lead to lower inflation. Now, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, he testified before lawmakers on Capitol Hill recently saying that the Fed is committed to bringing down inflation, but added that lawmakers are not apparently in a rush to lower interest rates. His appearance comes as, of course, tech billionaire Elon Musk, head of the Trump's administration's DOGE Department of Government Efficiency, appears to be backing the idea of former Congressman Ron Paul replacing Powell as the chair of the central bank. So we will continue to see what happens. And, as a result of that, I mean, we're experiencing this. And to your point, Charlamagne and Envy, we're watching the price of eggs. We're the ones that are out here grocery shopping. And we don't. Yeah.
Why is it eggs in particular that everybody always focuses on?
I don't know.
The price of everything is high. Why do people just be talking about eggs?
One of the essentials.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the basic essentials that you keep in the house. Eggs, bread,
milk,
cheese,
juice.
If you can afford that.
But bills is high, rent is high, mortgage is high. Like everything is high. Why are they just eggs?
And people be high and they want eggs to eat, so that's what they do.
Hey, an egg sandwich after you ain't lie. Anyways,
You already know, girl. Hello.
All right, y'all. So switching gears, an Illinois county board is signing off on a $10 million settlement for the family of Sonia Massie. Say her name, Sonia Massie. The 36-year-old black woman was shot and killed by a law enforcement officer last July inside of her own home in an unincorporated neighborhood in Springfield. She had called authorities to report a possible prowler before the incident occurred. She said someone was breaking in her house, and she called the police, and then they end up shooting her. So the Sangamon County Board unanimously approved the payout yesterday after reaching an agreement last week. Former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, he is charged with first-degree murder in the shooting. So just an update.
Get paid, young lady, get paid. I mean, I hate that had to happen to her, but I am happy that she received some type of compensation for it.
Well, her family.
Her family, yeah. How much was it?
$10 million.
Which is a nothing for a life.
I was going to say that is a nothing. That's not a lot. It's never enough when you're talking about a loss of life. But that's your front page news for 6 a.m., guys. We'll talk about reparations at 7.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Good morning, y'all. What's up? It's Jess's birthday. We celebrating on all.
Girl.
That's right.
You know we
That's
already are. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to start my fest.
I love that. All right, well, let's get into the news then, I guess. You know what I'm saying? House Democrats announced the reintroduction of a bill addressing reparations for slavery. H.R. 40 is federal legislation that would create a commission to study and propose reparations for slavery and subsequent racial discrimination. Now, Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley is taking over the bill after Representative Sheila Jackson Lee out of Texas died last summer from cancer. Now let's take a listen to Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley announce H.R. 40.
More than 4 centuries ago, Africans were kidnapped, trafficked, and enslaved, forced to build this country under horrific brutality, an economy which we still benefit from today. Rice, sugar, tobacco, cotton. And even after the Civil War, emancipation, and the 13th Amendment, the legacy of slavery endured in other forms, codified in law to deny Black Americans freedom, opportunity, and dignity. And that's what brings us here today. This brutality, these injustices, these horrors were not things just happened within the culture by osmosis. They were legislated. Today, with Donald Trump and Republicans waging their coordinated and at times unlawful assault on Black folks and Black history, we will not allow that history to be erased. We will not allow it to be whitewashed.
Can I say something about Ayanna Pressley?
Sure.
I think Ayanna Pressley is a Democrat that I enjoy hearing from. She's inspiring. She's informative. She's about action. She speaks truth to power. That is a Democrat who should be at the forefront in regards to leadership of the whole party.
Oh, I thought you were going to have a big butt.
No, there's no but. I just think she should be one of the people at the forefront. Put the Chuck Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi's. All of them need to move out to the side and let people like Ayanna Pressley be at the forefront.
I love that. All right. So during the last congressional session, the bill had 130 co-sponsors. However, it is unlikely to pass now in this session with a Republican-controlled House and Senate. Of course, this comes as Trump issued an executive order banning diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in federal agencies. He called DEI illegal and discriminatory, and as a result, federal workers are being placed on leave, and this also emboldens some Americans and their larger companies to walk back corporate equity promises. For example, Walmart. We saw Target doing that. Of course, Representative John Conyers out of Michigan, he first introduced the bill, H.R. 40, in 1989, and then Sheila Jackson Lee took over when he retired in 2017. So in the conversation of reparations, I mean, we've had this conversation, I want to say last year, Charlamagne, we mentioned it. What do you think that looks like?
As far as what?
What reparations could look like today? I mean, it's not so much as 40 acres and a mule cutting a check, or what do you think it could look like?
I really don't know. You know, I like economic equity packages that I see people put together. You know, West Bellamy did a lot of that in Charlottesville. But I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it should be cash payments. I don't know if it should be, land grants. I don't know if it should be, free education. I really don't know. I just know it should be something.
Yeah, I was going to say at least the conversation is being had. So let's switch gears. A federal judge is allowing President Trump's employee buyout plan to continue. Remember, it was initially blocked, but nope, it is going to move forward and continue. Last month, Trump offered money to millions of federal employees to get them to quit, but multiple labor unions filed lawsuits soon after, saying the administration did not have legal authority to offer such buyouts. However, a judge has issued a temporary freeze on the administration's offer. But on Wednesday, the same judge announced the unions lacked legal standing in their lawsuits, and this buyout is allowed to move forward. Now, the deadline for the buyout is already over, so you would have had to take advantage of it or make mention that you have already taken advantage of it. And we will see what happens to those who have actually accepted this buyout. So what it means is that you will work, or you essentially have quit your job at the federal government, and you will continue to be paid through September. All right. So in New York is highlighting its diverse workforce as President Trump continues to issue these executive orders curbing DEI initiatives. Reverend Al Sharpton says President Trump's claims on DEI programs don't hire candidates based on merit. Now, public advocate Jumaine Williams, he explains what DEI programs set out to do. Let's hear more from Reverend Al Sharpton and Jumaine Williams.
Can you imagine a man with 34 felony convictions and a sexual harassment conviction talking about merit? He couldn't fill out a resume at any one of these firms that's standing here. So merit has nothing to do with this.
All it says is that we should take measures to make sure that people who are qualified and can do the job are in the spaces and applicant pools to be chosen.
Yeah, so Comptroller Brad Lander, he also joined public advocate Jumaine Williams and Reverend Al Sharpton to recognize the diverse workforce managing billions of dollars worth of city pensions. Now, Lander says major companies like Walmart, Amazon have already started rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in advance, even though data shows diversity in their senior leadership and employees contributes to financial performance. Of course, Google, Meta, and Target also. And most recently, I've noticed Disney. Disney is actually changing content warnings ahead of their old movies like Dumbo and Peter Pan. Now, the movies currently have a disclaimer that says the films will include, quote, negative depictions and or mistreatment of peoples or cultures, while the new version will read, this program is presented as originally created and may contain stereotypes or negative depictions. Disney is one of the latest companies to roll back some of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
And Morgan, I do have one thing though. You asked the question about what would reparations look like to me.
Sure.
I think it could be different things for different people.
What you mean?
Like for example, right? It would be great for me. I'm talking about for me personally, right? Not having to pay taxes. Federal or state. I'm serious. I do pretty okay in life in various ways. If I didn't have to pay taxes, that would be fantastic for me. And I bet that there are quite a few, black people who could really, really get ahead if they didn't pay federal or state taxes. So I'm just talking about. I think
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think reparations.
Not quite a few.
I think reparations would look like different things for different, different people.
But how would they decide who gets reparations, right?
Yeah,
Is it all black people? But what about somebody like a Patrick Mahomes that's half black, half white? Or
no, he don't. First of all.
Hell no.
He's fine.
But how do you do that? Because
he's fine, and he would have to pay half taxes. Okay. Okay.
If you're biracial,
he would have to pay half his taxes. I'm just saying, black people who are in a certain tax bracket, who are making a certain amount of money. I feel like a good form of reparations for them would be for them not to have to pay federal or state taxes.
I'm with you.
Really, just black people, period, across the board shouldn't have to pay federal state taxes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
you said already paid 400 years ago. Already paid.
And I'm not saying that should be the only thing. I'm just saying that should be that would be a step in the right direction.
Because that would help a lot of people. And
absolutely.
And even with people that do have it a little better than other people, we can help other people with the money that we're saving.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I'm with it.
I like that. All right, bringing things home to you guys in New York. Mayor Eric Adams, he's set to meet with President Trump's border czar today. Fresh off the department's ordering prosecutors to dismiss the federal charges against him, the mayor's lawyer, Alex Spiro, he insists there's no quid pro quo involving immigration or anything else, meaning basically the charges were just dropped, you guys, dismissed, and it had nothing to do with whether or not he was cozying up to the Trump administration. So Adams is expected to meet with Tom Homan. He's coming to New York City to meet with Adams. Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, she's concerned that Adams will be, quote, opening doors to ICE raids against immigrants. Now, the mayor was in Queens on Wednesday with seniors and was asked by a reporter on his way how he could reassure the public that he has their best interests at heart and not Trump's. He simply said, look at his record and what he's done as he's recovered the city. So you guys are up there. I mean, you guys have any insights on that? I mean, he said, regaining trust is going to be a huge thing for Eric Adams, and I believe he is rerunning for mayor of the city. So what do you guys think about that moving forward, being
I did hear this morning on the news that allegedly Eric Adams was trying to decide if he wants to run again Republican or Democrat. So I know that was something that they were discussing earlier today. I mean, the city doesn't trust him. He has to regain the trust. He has to go back out there and prove to people that he's really here for the people. He's going to have to do that. So he's going to have to meet with everybody, every group, every community, and see if he can regain that trust.
Changing party lines is kind of... That's an interesting one. Well, all right, well, we'll see, and I'll keep you guys posted. But that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media, and for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network, and download the free iHeartRadio app. Visit us at BINnews.com. Thank y'all. Have a good one, and happy birthday, Jess, again.
Thank you, girl.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.